A weird accent.
Yeah, fine. That's how he says it. I'm very hungry.
Okay, Jacob, we're deteriorating. We're
Detour?
thank you. Detouring a little bit. Some things have come up that we need to discuss as a team, so we're going to take some time to discuss those, and then if we have time later, we will be going into our originally planned lessons. But we feel that this is important to touch on now, so the RDs are going to lead this discussion.
I'll start off. So basically, what we've been looking at from you guys is we're not expecting you guys to be RDs right now. Obviously, that's not your title, but we are expecting you to be outstanding RAs. And I'm not like targeting anybody in particular. So like, which is the general kind of thing that we need to discuss is everything that you do. You need to be like, this is, I'm being an outstanding RA. You need to know where your priorities are at and display that to the rest of the team, because these people, like, there's a lot of returners, and so these people need to be like, I understand I understand why they got this job and they deserve it, and I am gonna be able to look to them as an example, and that is something like we just need to kind of have an open discussion about, and yeah, I mean, if you guys wanna know some stuff.
This is what we do, and this kind of is opening you guys up to what we'll be doing next year. When there's an issue that comes up in our RD meetings on Sundays, we tend to take about 20 minutes of discussing things in the future, and then 40 minutes of things that are either bothering us or affecting our staff. And so we say it because it gets it out in the open, and it's not a argument, it's more of a discussion, and it's something that helps us grow closer and stronger, and it's also something that we don't carry out with us. We don't hold it and fester. It's something that we can leave in here, not go and continue to talk about it, and if it's something that we do need to continue to talk about, we'll bring it back together, not separate. So that's just like kind of like a idea going into this discussion.
No.
Alright. Okay, so basically you guys have a month until we're transitioning into you are the new RDs, and so I would have it in your mind that I have this month to really shine and to do everything right. Do your newsletters above and beyond. Make sure your bulletin boards better than it ever has been. Staff tasks done on time. Ad meetings on time. Like, no questions asked. There should be no question marks on our end. You need to make sure that we have no question marks like, oh, I'm worried about next year. Because this job starts in a month. And yes, crew isn't the same exact job that you're going to be having during the year, but you're going to be learning a lot of skills through crew, and you're going to need to be responsible during crew. And so that starts in a month. And it's just something we need to really get on top of. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, you guys obviously were chosen because you are great at your job and have the potential to be great at this RD position. But it's really kind of the more little things that it's not like, oh, they're not doing write-ups, they're not doing like the core parts of the job. It's like anything small, you need to make sure it's done so that it shows, wow, I like to you guys as well as the rest of the staff, wow, they were right to choose these people for the position.
It's not just fitting in, it's even those little things people might not even notice, but if you keep doing those, people are going to notice. So it's like, if you're always on time to a meeting, people might not notice like right away, but like if you keep doing those little things, like people will take notice of it. Oh, they're always dependable, they're always supportive, they're always there for us, if I have a question, they're there. And you just need to make sure that you take everything and put it at the top of your priority. It's like, you got this job, and it's not like, okay, I got this job and now I'm above people. I don't want to like put it in like that kind of way, but like it's not privileged. Like, this job isn't like, okay, now that you're higher up, you're allowed to slack off on certain things. It's not that way. It's the complete opposite. It's you have this job and now you need to show why you have this job.
We have to do, I think one thing is to highlight is we have to do the little things as an RD as well. We have to do our newsletter, our bulletin board. I have a staff task. Like, those are things that if I don't do, I can't hold my staff accountable to doing. And so RAs that are returning and future RAs, they're looking to you guys already as RDs. And like Shane said, we're not expecting you guys to be RDs right now. We're expecting you though to be an example of how to be a great RA. And I think one thing, and it's not a threat because everybody's position is at stake, but one thing we had discussed is we overhired, and we do have 5 RDs. That's not how we overhired, but anybody's job is at stake. And if people don't think, if like Kent or Dave or someone doesn't think that we are gonna help the team and impact it in a positive way, they're not gonna keep holding our hand and keep bringing us up above the water. They're going to make a decision, and that could be a hard decision, but that's something that they're looking at right now. We don't want to be going into next year going, oh crap, we have to like get this person into the position that they're supposed to be. No, we want to be going into next year in that position already. And I think one thing we mentioned last meeting is you guys have a huge benefit to be going through this training now. You guys are able to kind of figure out how to transition from that RA to RD. And yes, that might be why it's sometimes like more of a struggle, because you're not just being thrown into it, and sometimes that's easier. But that's something that I think you guys should really take, as in, I got this position, and there's gonna be people that don't agree there's people that don't agree with me being rehired as an RD. And I take that and I go, you know what, I'm gonna prove them that I deserve this position, but I'm not just gonna prove it to the people who don't think that I should be it. I'm gonna prove it to the people that think that I should be it, and I'm gonna prove it to myself that I should be it. And that's you raising the standard higher than your best cheerleader. Like, think of like your parents. Your parents they think you're the world. They think you do the best. And you should have a higher standard than that. And that might be reaching for the stars, but if you do that, then you're able to not only gain the respect from all your other staff members, but you're also able to respect yourself and understand that you are doing the best you can. And by the end of the day, you can't be mad at yourself because of that. And I think that's something that I would really hold on to, is just realize like this job can always be taken away from you, and that's not a threat at all. That's with any job you have. Anybody, if they don't think you're doing the job right, they can take it away. And that's why you really, really have to just put your heart in your head and just go straight forward and think of it as a challenge, but as a growing experience as well.
Be the person that you're going to be proud of tomorrow. I mean,
Love
like,
that quote.
yeah, I made it up. Basically, like, looking, like, when you look back on things that you did, make sure you say, I'm proud that I did that I did the right thing, and that is what was best for me. This job is a lot of what you put into it. You get back how much you put into it. You learn a ton, and so it's definitely worth it to put in all that hard work. And going back to the whole, like, over-hiring thing, like, again, not to threaten you guys at all, but in the end, we want the team to be most efficient. And it definitely can be the most efficient with 5 RDs. Like, that can be extremely efficient, but if you guys aren't pulling your weight, or it would make more sense to maybe go to 4 RDs or something like that, like, that is a possibility. It's not, again, it's not to threaten you, because we don't want to like have you guys just like walking on like thin ice kind of thing. It's not like that. But just know that this team, we just want it to be run the most efficiently, and so you guys are a huge part of that, keeping yourselves accountable, and then by doing that, you'll be able to keep your staff accountable.
And it's not choosing which items to do well. It's choosing to do all items and all tasks well. Okay? And there's not a lot that I have to ask of these guys because they take it upon themselves and make sure that every day, every encounter that they have, every task that they have, they go at it full force and they're doing it the best that they possibly can. And there's some tasks that I don't even have to ask. I say, hey, did you guys do this? And they're like, yep, done. And that's awesome when I don't even have to check up on them. And it makes my life so much easier because I do have other things to focus on. And they don't need all my attention, but when they need my attention, they get all my attention because I know that it must be extremely important for them to be coming to me.
It's this process from an RA to RD is, it might sound like, oh, not that big of a deal, you have more responsibilities, blah, 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 blah. You have more responsibilities in some areas and then you become less responsible in other areas. But a big part of it is they don't hire RDs because they're RDs at the time. Like, they hired us last year because they saw our potential. They saw what we could be and what we could grow into. Just like, you know, there was question marks about me being rehired as an RD, and I think part of the reason why they rehired me is because they saw more potential. They saw more growth. If they thought that I was done growing, or if they thought that I met my highest potential, I wouldn't really be much of a asset. Thank you. I was gonna say benefit, but that wasn't right. An asset to the team. And so take on little things as challenges to grow and to become the RD that you want to be. Be the RD that you wish you had. And right now, like Shane said, we're not expecting you to be an RD, but we are